Hello, miladies of inestimable value. When a Sigma female walks away, she doesn't look back because she's already too far ahead. There's a cold, hard truth that most people refuse to accept. Some exits are permanent. While the world loves to romanticize second chances, Sigma females aren't playing that game. Once they make the decision to leave, it's not out of anger, impulse, or drama. It's calculated, final, and absolute. Here's a fact. Over 70% of people experience breakup regret at some point in their lives. They cry, they reminisce, they reread old texts, and sometimes they even crawl back. But not Sigma females. They have a rare ability to emotionally detach and never revisit the past, no matter how much nostalgia tries to seduce them. And let's be real, most people don't see it coming. You thought she'd send a long, dramatic message? Nope. A grand exit speech? Not a chance. One day she was there, and the next she was gone. No warnings, no breadcrumbs, no maybe we can talk later. Just silence. So why do Sigma females never come back? What makes their departure so absolute? Buckle up, because once you understand their mindset, you'll realize why chasing them is like trying to text someone who deleted your number. Number 1. They don't let sentimentality interfere with logic. Sigma females don't let sentimentality interfere with logic. That's one of the biggest reasons they never come back once they leave. Most people get stuck in the past because they let emotions dictate their decisions. They think about the good times, the laughs, the moments that felt special, and suddenly they convince themselves that maybe, just maybe, things weren't that bad. Sigma females don't operate like that. They don't let selective memory rewrite history. When they walk away, it's not just because something felt off or because they had a bad day. It's because, after careful observation, they've realized that the situation no longer serves them. And once that realization hits, it's permanent. They don't waste time romanticizing what was. They see things for exactly what they are, stripped of emotional bias. If they left, it's because they saw patterns, red flags, or behaviors that weren't worth tolerating. No amount of sweet words, apologies, or nostalgia is enough to make them forget why they left in the first place. That's where most people get it wrong. They assume time softens the impact. That distance makes the heart grow fonder. But for Sigma females, distance just brings clarity. The further they get, the more they see things for what they really were. And if they ever second-guess their decision, they don't ask, what if? They ask, what is the smartest move for my future? Sentimentality is a trap, and they refuse to fall for it. This is why so many people are stunned when a Sigma female doesn't respond to an apology, ignores a long-winded message, or simply acts like they've erased the past. It's not coldness, it's not ego, it's logic. Going back to a situation that didn't work would be like willingly stepping into the same fire, expecting not to get burned. And Sigma females? They don't repeat mistakes. They learn, they grow, and they move forward, never in circles. Number 2. They know that returning would mean betraying themselves. A Sigma female doesn't just leave a situation, she chooses herself over everything that no longer aligns with her values. When she walks away, it's not a spur-of-the-moment decision fueled by temporary emotions. It's a calculated act of self-respect. She has weighed the pros and cons, analyzed the patterns, and come to one undeniable conclusion: staying would mean settling. That's why going back is never an option. It's not about stubbornness or pride. It's about integrity. The moment she turns her back on something, she's making a silent but powerful statement. I refuse to lower my standards. I refuse to tolerate less than I deserve. I refuse to betray myself. Most people struggle with this. They tell themselves, maybe things will be different this time, or maybe I overreacted. But Sigma females don't deal in maybe. They don't rationalize bad decisions just to ease loneliness or guilt. They trust their instincts and their ability to make the right call, even when it's hard. And let's be clear, walking away isn't always easy, even for a Sigma female. There are moments of doubt, moments where emotions try to creep in, moments where nostalgia whispers, remember the good times? But the difference is she doesn't let fleeting emotions override what she knows to be true. If she left, it's because something within that situation was out of alignment with her values, her self-worth, or her vision for the future. Going back wouldn't just be an inconvenience, it would be self-betrayal. It would mean disrespecting the very boundaries she set to protect herself. And that's the one thing she will never do. People call it ruthless. They call it heartless, but it's neither. It's self-loyalty. The world teaches people to compromise, to tolerate, to give endless chances. But Sigma females live by a different rule. Once you've shown me who you are, I believe you, and once I walk away, I don't turn back. Number 3, they operate in absolute certainty, not halfway decisions. Sigma females don't deal in hesitation. When they make a decision, it's absolute. No second guessing, no lingering doubts, no let's see how it goes. They don't kind of leave a situation, hoping things will magically change. When they walk away, it's because they've fully processed the reality of what they were dealing with and decided it's no longer worth their energy. Unlike most people who get stuck in emotional limbo, trying to convince themselves to stay or leave, Sigma females don't entertain uncertainty. They don't believe in dragging out dead situations or giving half-hearted chances to something that already failed. Before they walk away, they've already examined every angle, anticipated every outcome, and made peace with their choice. That's why once they're gone, they don't come back. This level of certainty is rare. Most people act on impulse, fueled by anger or hurt, only to second-guess themselves later. They leave but secretly hope the other person chases them. They say it's over but still check in, waiting for an excuse to return. Sigma females don't play those games. Their decisions aren't driven by temporary emotions. They're backed by logic, experience, and unshakable self-awareness. And this is what confuses people the most. They expect a dramatic exit, a long speech, maybe even a heated argument. But a Sigma female, she simply disappears. And that silence speaks louder than any goodbye ever could. No explanations, no back and forth, no last-minute reconsiderations. She has already thought about everything you could possibly say, and she's already answered every question in her own mind. People assume they can talk their way back in, but by the time they even realize she's gone, her decision has already hardened into something irreversible. It's not coldness, it's clarity. And clarity leaves no room for turning back. Number 4, their absence is the proof of their strength. Weak people linger, they hover, they hesitate, they leave the door cracked open just in case. Sigma females, they vanish. Their absence is their statement, a silent, undeniable declaration that they don't need to argue, beg, or explain themselves. They don't need to prove their worth to anyone. They don't need to make a scene. The only proof you'll ever get of their strength is the fact that they're gone, and they're not coming back. Most people stay in toxic cycles because they fear the unknown. They hold on out of habit, loneliness, or the false hope that things will change. Sigma females don't operate on fear. They operate on self-respect. The moment they realize they're being undervalued, manipulated, or disrespected, they remove themselves completely and permanently. This is what separates them from everyone else. They don't do half goodbyes. They don't keep one foot in and one foot out. When they leave, it's not an emotional reaction, it's a final decision. And that decision isn't up for debate. No closure talk. No, let's work this out. No slow fade. Just silence. And that silence? It's deafening. It forces people to sit with the reality of losing them. Because while others may come and go, always leaving room for a return, a Sigma female's absence is absolute. It's not just the loss of her presence, it's the loss of her energy, her wisdom, her patience, and everything she once brought to the table. People mistake this for coldness, but it's actually the purest form of self-mastery. It takes immense strength to walk away and never look back. It takes discipline to resist nostalgia, to reject the urge to check in, to remind yourself that you deserve better. And Sigma females, they don't just know their worth, they enforce it. They don't prove their strength through words, they prove it through their absence. And by the time you realize what you lost, they're already too far ahead to care. Number 5, they don't believe in what could have been. Most people get stuck in the endless loop of what could have been. They fantasize about alternate outcomes, replay conversations in their heads, and convince themselves that maybe, just maybe, things could have worked out differently. Sigma females don't entertain that kind of mental trap. They don't live in the world of possibilities, they live in reality. And in reality, if something was meant to last, it wouldn't have ended. This is why they don't waste time dwelling on what-ifs. They don't sit around reminiscing about the potential of a relationship, a friendship, or an opportunity that crumbled. To them, the very fact that it's over is all the proof they need that it wasn't meant to be. They trust reality over fantasies, facts over feelings, and outcomes over intentions. If something ended, it ended for a reason. No rewrites, no romanticizing, no sugarcoating. Most people look back because they want to believe that circumstances, timing, or external factors ruined something that was perfect. Sigma females don't buy into that. They know that if something was truly aligned with them, if it was meant to grow and thrive, it simply wouldn't have fallen apart in the first place. They don't believe in potential without proof. Either something works or it doesn't. Either someone values them or they don't. This is what makes their mindset so different. While others get lost in nostalgia, trying to fix what's broken, Sigma females have already moved on. Their focus is forward, not backward. They don't sit around wondering what could have been. They're too busy building what will be, and once they leave something in the past, that's exactly where it stays. Number 6, they don't feel nostalgia, they feel closure. Most people get caught up in nostalgia, replaying old memories like a favorite song they can't stop listening to. They cling to the past, romanticizing the good moments and conveniently forgetting the reasons things ended. Sigma females, they don't have that problem. They don't feel nostalgia, they feel closure. For them, the past isn't something to be relived or dissected. Once a chapter is closed, it's not left open for later edits. It's archived, sealed, and permanently filed away. They don't sit around reminiscing about what was. They don't romanticize situations that are over. They don't waste time wondering if they made the right choice. They process, they accept, and they move forward. End of story. This is what makes them so different from everyone else. While others drown in memories, Sigma females have already shifted their focus to the present and future. They don't allow emotions to rewrite history. If something ended, it ended for a reason, and that reason isn't up for debate, no matter how many good times they shared. People often assume this makes them cold, but it's actually the opposite. It makes them mentally strong. They understand that nostalgia is often just selective memory, a trick the mind plays to keep people stuck. They refuse to let that happen. They don't deny their past, but they refuse to live in it. This is why when a Sigma female walks away, she doesn't come back. Not because she's bitter, not because she doesn't care, but because she's already closed the book. Number 7, emotional amnesia doesn't work on them. Most people have a built-in coping mechanism called emotional amnesia, the ability to soften painful memories over time. It's why exes suddenly don't seem that bad, why past betrayals start to feel less personal, and why people give second chances to situations that once broke them. Sigma females, they don't have that weakness. They remember everything. Every emotional scar, every deception, every moment they felt undervalued. It's all stored, not as bitterness, but as data. They don't dwell on the pain, but they never forget the lesson. While others get swept up in apologies, nostalgia, and empty promises, Sigma females trust their own history. They've seen the patterns before, and they refuse to fall for them again. This is why they don't recycle relationships, friendships, or failed connections. They don't pretend things didn't happen just because time has passed. They don't erase the past just because someone suddenly decides to change. To them, behavior is the only truth. If someone showed them who they were once, that image never fades. It's not that they hold grudges, it's that they hold clarity. They don't believe in forgiving for the sake of moving on if it means sacrificing their self-respect. They don't allow people to rewrite the past just to make them more comfortable. If something hurt them, if something disrespected them, if something forced them to walk away, that fact remains. Most people convince themselves that time heals everything. Sigma females know better. Time doesn't erase what happened, it only reveals who learned from it. And if they see the same patterns, the same excuses, or the same empty words, They don't engage, they don't explain, they don't even respond. They just keep walking because they remember exactly why they left. Number 8. They are not addicted to closure, they create it. Most people chase closure like it's some magical key to healing. They want explanations, apologies, and one last conversation to make sense of everything. Sigma females don't play that game. They don't wait for closure, they create it. They don't need an apology to validate their decision. They don't need to hear why someone did what they did. They don't need a final conversation that usually just leads to more confusion, false hope, or manipulation. Their closure comes from within. Once they've decided to walk away, they don't look for reasons to stay. They don't wait for someone to make it right. They make it right by leaving. This is what separates them from everyone else. Most people can't fully move on unless they feel like they've been heard, understood, or given a proper goodbye. Sigma females don't care if you understand them. They don't need you to see their perspective. They don't need a dramatic exit scene or an emotional send-off. They just need to be done. That's why their silence is so powerful. It's not about revenge, pride, or playing games. It's about self-respect. They know that real closure doesn't come from someone else's words. It comes from accepting the reality of a situation and deciding it's no longer worth their energy. This confuses people. They expect a Sigma female to come back for answers, to want a final discussion, to at least say something. But she doesn't. Her absence is her closure. The unanswered messages, the lack of reaction, that's not an accident. That's a statement. Most people go in circles, waiting for the perfect goodbye that never really comes. Sigma females don't waste time waiting. They leave, they heal, and they move forward without needing a single word from you. Number 9, they study patterns, not excuses. Sigma females don't fall for words. They study patterns. They don't get blinded by apologies, promises, or last-minute attempts to make things right. They analyze behaviors over time, and once they see a pattern, they trust it. Most people give endless chances because they believe in potential over proof. They cling to the hope that someone will change, that this time will be different. Sigma females don't buy into that illusion. They know that patterns don't lie, people do. If someone has shown a history of betrayal, inconsistency, or manipulation, no amount of words will erase that reality. This is why when a Sigma female walks away, it's not based on a single mistake. It's based on evidence. She's been observing, connecting the dots, and recognizing the cycle before it fully plays out. By the time she leaves, she already knows exactly what would have happened if she stayed, and she refuses to participate in a script she's already read. Excuses don't work on her. Apologies don't move her. Promises don't impress her. She's not interested in what you say. She's only interested in what you do consistently. And if your actions have shown her a pattern of disrespect, dishonesty, or emotional games, she doesn't argue, she doesn't debate, she just leaves. This is what makes her absence so final. She doesn't leave hoping for change. She doesn't walk away looking for validation. She leaves because she already saw how this story was going to end, and she refuses to waste another second on a predictable cycle. Number 10. Their identity isn't tied to relationships. Most people wrap their entire identity around relationships. They feel validated by who they're with, defined by who loves them, and shattered when a connection ends. Sigma females don't operate that way. To them, a relationship is an experience, not a lifeline. It's something they enjoy, something they invest in, but never something they depend on for their sense of self. This is why they can walk away without looking back. They don't see the end of a relationship as the end of themselves. They don't spiral into an identity crisis just because something didn't work out. Their self-worth was never tied to the relationship in the first place. They entered it as a whole person, and they'd leave it the same way, whole, unshaken, and still standing strong. Most people stay in toxic situations because they don't know who they are without the other person. They fear being alone. They confuse connection with dependency. Sigma females? They are their own foundation. They never hand over the keys to their self-esteem, their happiness, or their sense of purpose. A relationship can enhance their life, but it will never define it. This is what makes them different. When most people beg for closure, cling to the past, or try to salvage something broken, Sigma females simply move forward. Not because they're cold, but because they understand one fundamental truth. Losing a relationship doesn't mean losing themselves. And when you're already whole, you don't need to go back looking for missing pieces. Number 11. They believe in a one-way evolution. Sigma females don't backtrack. To them, returning isn't just a mistake, it's regression. Once they walk away, they're already in motion, mentally, emotionally, and even physically evolving beyond the situation they left behind. Going back would mean undoing that progress, and that's something they refuse to do. Most people struggle with letting go because they cling to familiarity. They revisit old relationships, friendships, and environments, mistaking comfort for something meaningful. Sigma females see it differently. They don't attach themselves to the past, they outgrow it. They don't believe in recycling experiences that have already proven unworthy of their time. This is why their exits are so final. The moment they decide to leave, they're not just walking away from a person or situation. They're walking towards something better. They're leveling up, gaining clarity, and pushing themselves toward higher standards. Returning would mean undoing all of that. It would mean settling for something they've already risen above. And here's the brutal truth. By the time you even realize they're gone, they're already too far ahead to care. They've detached, moved forward, and found new challenges, new goals, and new experiences that excite them. They don't dwell. They don't regress. They evolve. That's what makes them unstoppable. They don't just leave people behind. They leave their old selves behind too. And once they've stepped into a new version of themselves, the past is no longer a place they recognize, or a place they ever intend to revisit. And that's the brutal truth. Once a Sigma female walks away, she's gone for good. Not out of bitterness, not out of pettiness, but because she's already evolved beyond the situation. She doesn't live in the past. She doesn't entertain regret. And she doesn't look back at doors she had every reason to close. By the time most people realize what they lost, it's far too late. She's not where you left her. She's leveled up, moved forward, and built a life that no longer has space for the things she walked away from. And that's the difference. While others dwell on what was, she's busy creating what will be. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Let's get this message out to those who need to hear it. And if you want more brutally honest, high-value content on the Sigma mindset, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay strong, stay sharp, and as always, keep moving forward. And that's why Sigma females never come back, because they don't need to. Once they walk away, they're already 10 steps ahead, evolving, growing, and building a life that no longer includes what they left behind. They don't dwell, they don't wait, and they don't repeat cycles. Their absence is permanent because their progress is unstoppable. If this resonated with you, make sure to hit that like button. It helps more people discover the truth about the Sigma mindset. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts. Have you ever walked away from something and never looked back? Let's talk about it. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a deep, raw, and brutally honest take on the Sigma way of life. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Stay strong, stay sharp, and as always, keep moving forward.